Alright, good evening to everyone, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to witness first ever league race in EFL. This is round 1, race 1 in Melbourne, Australia, which has been actually the season opener for many F1 seasons. I'm your commentator of this night, and also the owner of EFL, Eric Salama. And today we have 19 drivers, 10 teams, starting their battle for the ground jewel of Formula 1, where they start to fight for the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Season 1 of the EFL. And I got a few informations from my drivers that it's going to be raining in the race, so it will be a heavy rain conditions in the Grand Prix, so that will be very interesting to see. Looking in the future, looking forward to, and I want to see who is first one to start a lap, as we have 18 drivers here today, actually not 19, so I apologize for that. So, and I want to know who is the first one, and we have PMP Tron Cats who's already crashed out and made damage, but I believe it's, I think, is it Eduk? I think it's Eduk who's starting, he's the first driver to start a lap, so I'll just put all the telemetry enabled, and we have a viewer already. From Loya Nico saying Eduk supporter. So yeah, as you can see, I'm now recording Eduk's lap, and we'll see how he's gonna do. He's coming to us to sector 1, and it's 26.6. And the viewers who are just coming in, I just want to inform that we'll be having heavy rain conditions in the Grand Prix after the qualifying, so we don't know what setups everybody's running. It might be rain setups or mixed setting condition setups or something, but yeah, as now Eduk will come to sector 2, and that is 48.3. We'll see what's gonna be the banker lap for today's Australian Grand Prix, as I'm gonna see a little bit of comments from Eduk supporters actually, so. And you can write to the stream, is my voice good? Is it too loud? Is it too, well, quiet? But yeah, Eduk is coming towards the last corner, and let's see what lap he's gonna do. And he's gonna do 1:20.5, and that's the opening lap time in this Grand Prix, and New Zealand cam sets 1:23.5. We'll see who is, and we have Taze Leroy sitting at 1:21 flat, James Gill at 1:23.5. I'm trying to find out who is closest to the finish line, and it is TTV Elite Shots, and he set 1:23.6, which moves him to P5 position. And we have Semi Lavikan who goes P3. I have big problems of knowing whoever is in a lap, but I'll keep following Uncle Lance, one of our newest drivers in EFL, as Hamtera does 1:23.7, which moves into P7 position. As Uncle Lance is coming towards the last corners, driving with his beautiful Ferrari car, and he's going back to the pit. So, and we'll see what Napla does. And Napla's driving with hard tires, and he's just in the sector 1. So currently Eduk is in pole position, Taze Leroy in second, and Semi Lavikan in third place. And I believe Napla is gonna end up in the traffic. There's a Torosso ahead of him, or then he's in a lap. I'm gonna see, is anybody else in a lap actually? No, everybody's. Taze Leroy's. No, he's not else either. Actually, I think James Gill is in his second lap, so he's doing a second lap with his medium tires, and he's gonna set 1:23.9, so he doesn't improve his time, but he stays in P4 at the moment. And it's actually Hunter, so are they planning that Hunter is giving slipstreams to Napla, because I know they're very good friends. And there's yellows in sector 3, somebody has slowed down, and it is a Ferrari of Semi Lavikan, because of Uncle Lance is in a pit. So we'll see what Napla does with his hard tires, because yeah, as I got a few informations from a few drivers like Napla who said it's going to be heavy rain conditions in the Grand Prix, so I'm not really understanding why you would set a lap on hard tires. But as actually Napla moves himself in P9, but he's about to start his lap. Let's see where PMP Tron Cats is. As Napla has been it to the wall. He's been it to the wall, but he hasn't retired from the session. And there's still Alfonso who moves P2. He does 1:20.7, which is very good lap time, but he's not able to challenge Eduk for P1. So currently the Finnish driver in a Williams car is P1 at the moment, and we'll see what the flying Polishman Wickmill does in his Renault car. He's a UPL Division 2 champion, and then he's a German League champion, as we have a lot of comments saying that the voice is fine. The voice is fine. That's very good to hear. Thank you very much for complimenting that the voice is fine. I don't want to be too quiet or too loud, so you can hear the drivers, I guess, racing. But yeah, Wickmill is coming towards the final corners. It's a very difficult braking to the last corner because your rear can snap very easily if you're not careful. If you put too much throttle, it's gonna snap out. But if you're gonna be too cautious, you're gonna lose too much time. But he's coming towards the line, and he moves to P4 position with 1:21 and 4. But still, people like Chappelle and Toxic Tomato have not set the lap time. And speaking of Chappelle, or Chappellele, I'm not pretty sure how to pronounce his name. I guess it's Chappellele. He won 2 practice races out of 3. He won the practice races in Belgium and Austria by dominant fashion, and now we're gonna see what he does differently than any other drivers. He's German, he drives with pad, and there's yellows in sector 3, but nobody's retired, so somebody's just probably binned it, or just spun it, or slowed down massively in the last corner. Shape. So, shape. Okay, so, I guess you say Chappellele, it's shape. So we have VRT shape in his lap. And I completely missed the sector 1, but I did see it was mine or something, but knowing shape's pace, I would imagine that he will challenge for top 3 positions here today. He's an extremely fast driver. And sector 2 time is 48.4. And he runs a little bit wide in corners 11 and 12, but I guess I think it's pretty okay because he didn't go so much wide. He's still continuing his lap, so it wasn't invalidated. He's keeping it in overtake mode, as we saw that so many drivers here today have been keeping it in medium mode, and he's actually invalidated it, so he's in the pits, as Eduk is in his another flying lap. Or starting his flying up, and Taze Leroy has retired, so that was sector 1 was because of Taze Leroy, and I want to see what really happened to him. And we have New Zealand Cam pushing in his laps, switching to soft tires and trying to set a time on softs. Somebody asking what is the meaning of EFL. And that question came from Car Cannon. So Car Cannon, EFL is a shortage for Eric's Formula League. Because my name is Eric and it's my Formula League, so it makes sense. But yeah, New Zealand Cam is coming towards the line, and he's gonna set 121.9, which moves him to P6 position currently. We have LMFC who moves himself to P2 with 120 and 5. That was a big surprise because I didn't consider him to be well, because it's the first race, I'm not gonna say anything, but I wasn't considering to challenge that good in the field, but very good job from him at the moment. Taze Leroy has left from the session, so he's either disconnected or then something has happened to him. As we have F1 Baza in his lap, so we'll keep following him and see is anybody close in the finish line. I will check your comments briefly, and if you're just joining to the stream, do not adjust the TV sets. This is EFL Round 1 Season 1 in Melbourne, Australia. 21 race season calendar, every time 8 PM UK time, and starting from Australia, ending it to Yasmo in Abu Dhabi. 21 races, 1 race per week. It will be very interesting. And James Killer, he's down on his time, so we'll keep following Uncle Ants. And there's once again yellows in sector 3, so a lot of yellow flags in sector 3, and there's probably James Killer who went white in the corner. As Uncle Ants is actually with 0 EOS, so he will not improve his time. LMFC is not in his lap, and actually F1 Baza will see what he will do with medium tires, as we have 6.5 minutes remaining in a session. And we'll see what lap time he's gonna do. He's gonna do a 124.4, which moves him to P13, just outside the top 10. We have Napula who's starting his lap with soft tires. Toxic Tomato is just coming towards the corners 11 and 12, and James Killer has left from the session, but once again, I will, one moment. Yeah, if you disconnect, you can just rejoin back because it's friends only. And I think I've sent a couple of invites to the guys, so they can rejoin back. So as a spectator or commentator, I cannot invite people back to the lobby if they disconnect. So Toxic Tomato, he wants very wide. I'm not sure does the game allow you to track extend like that, and yeah, he's going back to the pits, and 2 racing points are still without a lap time. So the 2 championship contenders, so the drivers are considered who are gonna be challenging for constructors and drivers championship, are struggling in the first race. I believe, I don't know, I need to check. Low Nico, are we following you guys on Twitter? I will give you a follow if I don't, but just follow EFL at F1 and I will follow you back. And I believe Napla moved himself to P5, so very good lap from Napla. He did a 121.3 and there is 5 minutes remaining in a session. But currently the pole position time is Eduk's 120 and 5, which is very impressive pole time actually. But who is closer to finish the lap? It's Shape, VRT Shape. Has he lifted off or not? I need to see from his sector time. And it's 50.6, so he's lifted off. We'll see what Eduk does. He's improving by 3.5 tenths, so incredible pace at the moment from the Finnish driver in Williams. As the both Finnish drivers in Williams are very good, both in the top 6. So Finnish drivers currently doing a very good job, but are we going to see a new lap record of EFL in Australia? At the moment it is with Eduk's 120 and 5. We do keep track on the track records. And we'll see he's coming towards the final corner, running it very wide with full power, and he does a 120.1 unbelievable lap, 120 and 1 from Eduk 33, just just incredible lap. And Pierre Hansen, let's see what he's gonna do. He's coming towards corner 13. No big mistakes. I completely missed the early stages of his lap, but at the moment, a few corners what I've seen, he's done it very beautifully. Corner 15, corner 16. And he's coming towards the line and he does 123.1. As there's 3 minutes remaining in the session and we're still waiting for drivers to go for the final ones, because this is the time of the qualifying where you change the tires and you go as late as possible because the track gets better second by second, minute by minute, and we have most of the drivers in the pits. So now we probably have time to check is anybody in the lap. Lance is in his lap, so he's just started his lap, so very smart timing from him because most of the drivers are in the pits and he's staying out, so yeah, very good timing from him. And we'll see what his sector time is going to be. It's going to be a 26.9. He's improving by 1.5 tenths. And good checking the messages if somebody's worded to me that they need an invite or something, because we had few disconnections of James Killer and Taze Leroy. Yeah, and Uncle Lance is improving by 2. Okay, but he gonna cut it massively, and I will check a few comments. Sunway riding Eric, yes, hello Sunway. How you doing, man? How you doing? Yeah, I was just testing my voice. Sunway, I love you, man. If you wanna know, you're the best owner what I've ever met. I appreciate you watching my stream, and I'm very proud of my drivers because it was big trouble in early stages of the practice races. We only had like 5-6 drivers every practice race, and now we were able to manage to get 18 drivers, which is unbelievable. I want to thank everybody who's been a part of this. But yeah, 1.5 minutes remaining in the session, and Alfonso Gomez is starting his final one, so we'll keep following him. He's giving it an overtake, just his teammate ahead of him, James Killer, and he lifted off, probably corner cut at the first corner as he decided to lift it off. So is anybody else in a lap? I believe we have F1 Baza. So somebody's waiting somebody to bottle it, so I don't know. And Alfonso Gomez retires. That's your first bottling of the night. It's Alfonso Gomez. Wasn't able to improve his time. Alfonso, who I thought was gonna the guys who will challenge for pole position easily, but it wasn't meant to be, as we only have now 16 drivers remaining in the session because 2 have retired. So we'll see who of these 16 drivers will take the pole position. We still have Cameron Young and Sape, who might challenge for pole position. But we'll see what F1 Baza does. He's improving by 1.1 seconds, but he went a little bit wide in corner 11, corner 12, and he goes to the grass. I'm not sure is that an invalidation or not. He's actually continuing his lap still, so probably the game forgave him going wide that much, but he's pushing so much from the car. You can see how much he's pushing as James Gill has left once again from the session, so we have disconnection issues with few of the drivers, which is quite unfortunate. But yeah, now F1 Baza is coming towards the final corner. We'll see what he's going to do, and it's going to be a 1:22.6, and he moves to P12 position as the time is run out. We have TTV Elite Shots coming towards corner 15. Very hard braking point, you have to use all of the track. A little bit struggling in the last turns, but we'll see does the clock like his time or not. He opens his DRS, he ran out of DRS, and he does 1:22.4, which moves into P9 position. We'll see what Hamcho does, or is anybody else close to finishing a lap. I guess it's Hamcho. Where is Hamcho? Hamcho is coming towards corner 13, now corner 14, corner 15, and those new drivers who just, new viewers who came, we're gonna have heavy rain conditions in a Grand Prix, so it will be very interesting to see who's gonna win and who's gonna lose it, who's gonna battle it in wet conditions. And Hamcho stays in P10. New Zealand can retire, so I'll keep my eye on Toxic Tomato. And actually, Chappelle Sape is giving slipstream to Toxic Tomato, so very good job from the teammates, very good tactic. And Wickmill has jumped to P5 position, dropping Semi-Larrican and Napla by 1 positions. Hatzer moves to P8 position, dropping PMP Try and Catch to P9. We'll see what the Racing Point drivers of Sape and Toxic Tomato can do. As we'll see what lap time Chappelle is going to do. Sape is going to do nothing, and Toxic Tomato moves himself to P4 position, so he's not got a chance for pole position. So that means Eduk is the only driver remaining in the session, so he will be taking the pole position. So not many drivers were able to improve in the front, but it was a disappointing qualifying for Sape, who I consider to be one of the championship rivals this season. But yeah, Napla moves himself to P3. Napla P3 with 1:20.6. So we have 2 Finnish teammates in Williams in P1 and P3. So very good qualifying from the 3 first positions are finished. So pole position for Eduk 33, P2 for LMFC, P3 Napla 185, P4 Alfonso, P5 Toxic Tomato, P6 Taze Leo, P7 Wickmill, P8 Semi-Larrican, P9 Hartzer, PMP Try and Catch top 10, and your grid from P11 to P18 is New Zealand Camp, TTV Elite Shots, Hamtower, Uncle Lance, F1 Baza, P Hansen, James Gill and Beatrice Chappelle, and I quickly take screenshots. One moment, guys, but that was very interesting qualifying, I have to admit. I didn't think that Cameron Young, aka Toxic Tomato, was not able to put himself to top 3, or Shape to take top 3 position. But yeah, very surprising qualifying. Somebody's writing that Shape, aka Chappelle, is gonna win from P18, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, we got heavy rain conditions, as you can see. Heavy rain in EFL, Season 1, Race 1. Unbelievable, what a way to start a season. There's not a better way to start a race than with dry qualifying and heavy rain conditions in a Grand Prix. Eduk is riding, and Napla very surprised. Few curse words from those drivers. I don't want to say them in the stream because we are a child-friendly league. We have to keep it PG. So no curse words, as James Gill has joined just back to the session, so I think he just made it, or did he just miss it? As we have I want to see from a different camera angle. Hopefully I will see it from different camera angle. So your grid from P1 to P18 is Eduk and LMFC, Williams and Renault in P1 and P2, P3 and P4 goes to Napla 185 and Alfonso Gomez of Williamson Mercedes AMG Petronas. P5 and P6 goes to Toxic Tomato and James Killer. P7 P8 Vic Mill and Samuel Larkin. P9 and P10 Hatcha and PMP Trying Cats. P11 and P12 New Zealand Cam and TTV Elite Shots. P13 and P14 Hamtower, Uncle Lance. P15 P16 F1 Baza and Pierre Hansen. So we have only 16 drivers in a session because few got disconnected before the race started, unfortunately, so they will be missing the first Grand Prix of EFL, which is quite unfortunate, but these disconnections of course sometimes happen. So I will run you through the grid once again. Eduk in pole position, LMFC in P2. There's a massive crash between Napla and LMFC. Napla has actually spun it, waiting everybody to go past. Oh, and I don't know, will he get disqualified from from S-Lap? No, it's not. So Eduk in pole position, LMFC in P2, Napla in P3, Alfonso in P4, Toxic Tomato in P5, James Gill in P6, Vic Mill P7, Semilavik in P8, Hearts of P9, Trying Cats P10, New Zealand Camp P11, TTV Elite Shots P12, Hamter P13, Uncle Lance P14, F1 Baza P15, Pierre Hansen P16 and Sapel in P18. And for some reason I can see a few of the drivers, so a little bit of the connection issues in a Grand Prix, so yeah, I'm just quickly checking the messages. Few drivers complaining about the disconnections. I'm really sorry about this, so but it happens sometimes. The Codemaster servers are what they are, but Eduk is placing his car to the grid, as almost every single other driver is forming up to the grid, as we have 18 drivers starting their engines. And here we go, the first race of first season of first round of EFL is starting in a minute. Eduk, LMFC, Napla, Alfonso Gomez, Toxic Tomato, Vic Mill, Similarweg and Hatsa, PMP, New Zealand Camp, TTV Elite Shots, and we have... Actually, I'm stuck. Actually, I'm quite stuck in the pits, and 3, 4, 5 red lights. Lights out and away we go, and it looks like LMFC got a fantastic start. He will challenge Eduk for P1 in turn 1, but look at the start Alfonso Gomez got from the outside inside line. And are we going to see a crash in a turn 1? No, we're not, but we see Williams going wide. That is Napla going wide, and Eduk is still leading from LFC. Alfonso Gomez, Toxic Tomato is moved to P4 position. Actually, Vic Mill is moved to P4. I'm not pretty sure what's been happening in the Grand Prix, but there's yellows in Sector 1 as Napla has lost so many positions, as we have so many drivers going wide, really struggling in the wet conditions. I'm actually speechless. Alfonso leading from Eduk, from PMP, from TTV, from Similavik and from Toxic Tomato, Wickmill, Sapel, Napla, New Zealand Camp. So Napla has lost 7 positions in the start. And is that a front wing damage for Eduk? That's going to be very interesting if it is. As I'm actually speechless, there's a very small gap between the drivers, and actually now PMP Trying Catch has moved from P7 to P2, so very good job from PMP Trying Catch to move himself to P2, but now the Williams of Eduk is trying to challenge for corner 11. We're going to see who has the bigger cojones, and they're leaving enough space for each other, but is Eduk going to be able to make the maneuver? And yes, he is. Beautiful maneuver from Eduk, the Finnish driver, who is going to challenge Alfonso very soon for P1. As there's a massive fight, and we have somebody out, and there's a Ferrari of Semilavik who's dropped out, who's made a big mistake, so that's gonna contribute his race a lot. New Zealand Cam has overtaken Napla for P8 position, so not the best start for Napla, and we'll see the 2 Force India drivers and Sapel is actually in P6 at the moment. So very good job from Sapel, as Red Bull, New Zealand Cam and Toxic Tomato are going side by side with each other, and ooh, they're almost crashing with each other, but Alfonso setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix of 1:46.8. So that's a very good lap from Alfonso Gomez. But now the grid has a little bit stabilized, and Sapel has moved 12 positions from the start, which is actually incredible, and he's still going side by side with his teammates. So Toxic Tomato and Sapel are going side by side like Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez back in the days. And Eduk has lost the position once again to PMP, and now he's losing the position to TTV Elite Shots. So he's really struggling in raining conditions. Maybe the setup was more about the qualifying than about the race. As Wickmill follows in P5, Toxic Tomato in P6, Viat Isabel in P7, New Zealand Cam in P8, Hartsa in P9, Napla in P10, Uncle Lance in P11, Pia Hansen in P12, Avikan in P13, Hamza P14, Baza P15 and LMFC in P16, but surprised that nobody's made a pit stop yet. And there's a massive crash and there's Napla and Samuel Avikan out of the Grand Prix and also LMFC. So unbelievable scenes, 3 cars retiring, LMFC, Napla and Samuel Avikan out of the Grand Prix. I'm not so sure what happened there. Unbelievable, unbelievable. 3-car crash, is that gonna bring out the safety car or not? And there's yellows in sector 2 and sector 3, there's yellow flags and not the best start for Napla. I will imagine I will have big work in a steward's office lately after the race, as Eduk has lost so many positions. He's already in P8. But very unfortunate for Napla and LMFC what happened, and of course Samuel Avikan. But now Toxic Tomato is catching up to Wickmill for P4 position, so the 2 racing points are doing very well in the raining conditions. Yeah, I'm still pretty speechless what happened, and Toxic Tomato is just probably waiting on a good opportunity to overtake the Renault car. There's not many overtaking places you can do in Australia, but there are a few, and there's once again yellows in sector 1 and sector 3, and Eduk has retired from the session, and ooh, he made a big mistake. So already the top 3 has retired from this Grand Prix, so we have only 13 drivers remaining in the session, as Alfonso is still leading from PMP. Still a big fight between Toxic and Wickmill, and is Toxic gonna try to overtake White in the corner 11, corner 12 combination? No, he's not. He's waiting for the better opportunity, and he's basically pushing, and there's Alpha who spun it. Alpha has spun it, so, and that is TTV Elite shots. Unbelievable scenes what we see here today, and that moves Wickmill to P3 position, and that's a massive mistake from TTV Elite, as Eduk has left from the session, as we have currently only 12 drivers remaining in the session, or I mean 11, so we have 5 retirements. This is the raining conditions in Australia, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens. This is what happens when you race in the heavy rain conditions. As I will check the comments briefly, but Toxic Tomato is still behind of Wickmill, and Wickmill can be very lucky that the DRS is disabled. That will make overtaking a little bit more harder. But we'll see who's gonna come out on top in this battle. As now I think as Elite Shots has left from the session, but I'm surprised that the safety car has not been deployed yet. As now Toxic Tomato is looking down the inside of corner 3, and he actually does a switch back on Wickmill, and who's going to be in the position, and it's going to be Wickmill or Toxic Tomato, and it looks like Toxic Tomato got the maneuver done round the outside of corner 6. Beautiful maneuver from Toxic Tomato. And there's a few comments saying, what is that effing Ferrari, yellow flags and full throttle straight to my car, and calling him, yeah, I assume that's Napla. You know what to do, just send me the incident footage, and yeah, just send me the incident footage and I'll take a look at it, as I'm the only steward at the moment in the league. As it's a little bit stabilized right now because we had that 5-car crash in the beginning, and F1 Baza is actually catching to Pia Hansen, as and New Zealand Cam is right behind of VRT Shape, so Shape is not doing, he's not that fast in the raining conditions. He's actually a little bit struggling, so we'll see what's gonna do. And it's still lap 4 out of lap 29. But yeah, Napla has left from the session. I can imagine that he will be furious. Such a good qualifying, and then in a race happening something like that. Yeah, we have Uncle Lance who's actually switched to wet tires, so will be very interesting to see what he can do in this Grand Prix. We have to follow his lap times and see what lap times he's gonna do. Are the wet tires at the moment or not? As we can see, there's not so many overtaking places. You have to kind of force your overtakes in a way, and you have to make dive bombs, overtake around the outside or inside. So yeah. As now actually Beatrice Appel is catching to Wickmill, so Wickmill is going to be under pressure from Racing Point and Red Bull drivers, and he might soon get relegated to P6. But actually Wickmill, he's been driving very carefully, very smartly. He started from P7 and he's slowly moved himself to P4 position, so very smart driving from Wickmill 11. As Toxic Tomato is catching to PMP trying catch, and Alfonso is just leading the Grand Prix by 5.6 seconds to the closest guy in second place, and there's yellows, and Hatsa has retired. Hatsa has retired from the session. I want to see what happened, and yeah, he's made the same mistake what everybody else has done, and now we have only 10 drivers remaining in the session. Unbelievable, and Alfonso sets the new fastest lap of 1:37.4, so the wets are not the right tires to go on at this stage of a Grand Prix. As actually now Sapel is wide behind of Wickmill, only 8 tenths behind him, and New Zealand Cam wide behind them, so Wickmill is kind of holding up the two drivers. As unfortunately, yeah, just reading the messages what I've got, we had already 7 retirements in a session. But this is why rain races are very interesting in the beginning. They can be very interesting in the beginning because a lot of can happen in the early stages of the Grand Prix, but then when it all settles up, it will be what it is, as Uncle Lance is probably switching back to intermediates, realizing that the wet tires weren't the right tire to go on at this stage of a Grand Prix. As Beatrice Sape, he is not able to get closer than 8 tenths to Wickmill, so Wickmill is kind of doing a good job, not making mistakes, just doing his own drive and consistent driving from him. So yeah, but yeah, drivers, if you're watching the stream, please do not fight in the chats, just send the incidents in Twitter to EFL_F1 or in PSN EFL_F1. So hopefully you'll understand my message and stop fighting in the chats. So yeah, but anyways, this lap 7 out of 29, it happens, it's racing, everything happens. But now Sape is in a big trouble against New Zealand Cam, and New Zealand Cam can actually capitalize that and move himself to P5 position. As we can see, he cuts a little bit of corner, but he's very close to Sape. As I don't know what is with Sape. He's not performing so well as I thought he would be. As he's gonna dive up around the inside. No, he's not. He's waiting for the better opportunity. As we said, it's very difficult to overtake without DRS and in the rain. And everybody has almost 100% ERS, so everybody's just saving the ERS. And Uusapel is looking down the inside. Is he gonna make the maneuver stick? No, he's not. He tried it. He tried to overtake around the inside of corner 8. I mean corner 9, and now New Zealand Cam is showing his face around the inside, just showing I'm here, baby. Safe gets a little bit bad exit, and is New Zealand Cam gonna capitalize it? They're going side by side. It's Red Bull against Racing Point. Who's gonna give in? Who has the bigger cojones? And it looks like, is it gonna be Sape or is it gonna be New Zealand Cam? They're going side by side in corner 12. An unbelievable overtake from New Zealand Cam, and he relegates VRT Sape to P6 position. But this VRT Sape is gonna come back at him. I'm sorry that I'm a little bit struggling with my voice, but I'm not used to commentating. Very long break from commentating so far, but now New Zealand Cam can actually challenge Wickmill for P4, and he's going to make the move around the outside. No way he's going to make that, but he's basically pushing him, and he tapped in a little bit, but I don't know did he lose a front wing or not, but he's using the slipstream and the performance of his car. But is he going to be able to make the maneuver? No, he's not. He has to wait for a better opportunity to make the maneuver, but Wickmill is really holding the boat up, as LMFC has left from the session. He's had enough, as we have only 10 drivers remaining in the session. Hartz has left. So as actually this is the only battle what is going on at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, and Alfonso is just keeping the gap over 5 seconds, so He's been doing a very good job. He's been avoiding all the catastrophes. And is New Zealand gonna go around the inside? Ooh, no, he's not. As we have a new comment, as Napoli saying, okay, they're still fighting. As New Zealand Cam is trying to overtake on a corner 10. But Wickmill is still blocking them. He's still blocking. Beautiful defending from Wickmill, but I think now enough is enough. But oh my god, they're gonna go 3 wide in the next corner. Who's gonna come out on top in this battle? Is it Renault, Red Bull, or Racing Point? And they're all following each other like in a big train. And now I think, okay, now New Zealand Cam has to make the maneuver as Pierre Hansen takes a 3-second time penalty. But now New Zealand Cam is going down the inside on corner 13. He's leaving enough space for Wickmill, but Wickmill is defending beautifully from the Red Bull and Racing Point. And Sapel is trying to make the maneuver on New Zealand Cam. Cam is trying to make the maneuver on Wickmill. They're going side by side on corner 14 and now corner 15. Who's going to come out on top? And is it going to be Wickmill or New Zealand Cam? And it's still Wickmill. Wickmill is defending very beautifully from both of these drivers. So he's, as we said, a flying Polishman. Real life's Robert Kubica. As now they're still going side by side, unbelievable fight. And now somebody has to yield. It's going to be Wickmill. As Wickmill has crashed out. Wickmill has crashed out. And I think it's a front wing damage for Wickmill. As now Beatrice Appel is trying to make maneuver on New Zealand Cam, kind of forces him wide, kind of made him to stop, but he made the overtake maneuver stick and relegates New Zealand Cam to P5 position. Not the cleanest race, I have to say. I have a lot of work to do in the next 72 hours. I can imagine I will get a lot of, oh boy, a lot of POVs in my DMs. Not that I was planning it, but I guess it's the job of owner in the leagues. As is Wickmill gonna? Yeah, he's lost his right side of his front wing, so he has to go and make a pit stop. As yellow's a sector, and it's Wickmill. Wickmill has gone to the grass and has made a mistake, and that moves Hamter to P8 position. So at the moment, very good job from Hamter, just avoiding all the fights, all the collisions, and he's safe in points. Pierre Hansen also very good in P6, his teammate in P5, and Sapel is spinning. Let's see what tire Sapel is taking. Is he gonna take another intermediates, or is he gonna go for wet tires? We'll see what tires he's gonna take. Coming towards the pit lane. And he take another set of intermediates, and he is changing the front wing. So he lost his front wing in a fight against New Zealand Cam. As both Wickmill and Sapel are pitting, yeah, and front wing change for Wickmill. As Wickmill has left from the session, so he has rage quitted. What we have to say, for first race it's been a quite dramatic Grand Prix, I have to say. F1 Baza currently in P6, Pierre Hansen in P5, New Zealand Cam in P4, PMP1 Cats in P3, and he's made a mistake, and Toxic Tomato is in P2, so will we see a fight between Toxic Tomato and Alfonso Gomez? Because the gap is still 5 seconds, but Toxic has been using a lot of his EOS. And but also Alfonso has also used a lot of his EOS also, so yeah. Any fights going on in track? Maybe between the two Red Bull drivers for P4 position. I'm quickly gonna. At the moment, you can write to the comments what do you think about the current state of this Grand Prix. Of course it's raining, but what would you say? What's been happening? We have 7 retirements, 2 race quits and stuff like that. As we have New Zealand Cam who's gone to the pits. We'll see what tires he's gonna take. And he's taking another set of intermediates, so the rain is not ending because then the tires are going, and Sapel has retired. Sapel has retired from the session. What on earth happened to Sapel? What on earth happened to Sape? Did he just retire in the pits? I want to see where his car retired. And where did he actually retire? Did he retire in the pits or something? Yeah, he probably made a mistake or retired in the pits, I'm not sure, but that moves everybody one position as we have only 8 drivers remaining in the session because of Wickmill kind of retiring, but yeah, it is a rain in Australia. Somebody's gonna get good points, and it's very important to have a very good first Grand Prix because you will get very good points in your first race and you will carry the momentum up as we have still 2 drivers arguing with each other in the chats in the stream, so please leave it and send me the POVs, your point of views in the crash, so we can deal it inside the league. So yeah, not much battling going on. 17 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. Alfonso still leading from Toxic Tomato. PMP trying catching P3, and actually Toxic catching Alfonso by 5/10 last lap. So yeah, Hamto is still in P6, 15 seconds behind of Baza. Hamto will be getting very good points in this Grand Prix. Everyone Baza in P5. But yeah, and also we're doing an EFL league, but also we're doing a weekly Meet the Driver show. So basically we interview one of our drivers in EFL about their personal life, about their dreams, passions, what they do in real life, about the game, how many leagues they've been. So you get to know the drivers in EFL. It's a kind of news show we made. And after this race or tomorrow, you can go check our first episode that we made last week with Wickmill 11. That was a lot of fun to do. And next week, I believe we're gonna have either Toxic Tomato, James Killer, or Alfonso Gomez in Meet the Driver show. So stick around for that. It's gonna come out next week. Next week, Monday or Tuesday. And yeah. Nothing much happening in the Grand Prix so far. New Zealand Cam is still keeping up with... He's actually catching Hamtower, as PMP sets the fastest lap of 137.2. So he's a force to be reckoned with. So he's found his intermediate race pace, if you must say, warming accidentally, so yeah. As I was too focused on the cars ahead, and when I saw you I didn't have the time to... Okay, so... But Evan Baza got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. PMP Twan Catch is still 1.3 seconds behind of Toxic Tomato. Actually, it will be very interesting to see, will the rain end? Or will it stay the same? Or will it get even harder? Because I believe if we will go to wet conditions, we'll see a few more retirements from these guys. So yeah, but it will be very interesting if it's like mixed rain conditions, mixed weather conditions, where you have to change in the end to slick tires, as New Zealand Cam has got past of Hamtower, and we're getting Hamtower to P7 position. We completely missed that overtake, but mother team putting the sister team to P7, maybe just Helmut Marko doing the team orders, execute order 66. Like Palpatine used to say in the Star Wars movies in Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, as Hunter is losing a lot of time now. I'm not sure, did he crash with New Zealand Cam, or did he lose a little bit of his end plate? Actually he's going very slowly, so it might be because he's losing a lot of time. Pierre Hansen is scuttling P4, and PMP is really catching, but Toxic is catching Alfonso also, so as now Uncle Lance has got past the AI car of Wickmill, so we have basically 8 drivers remaining in the session, 8 have retired, so it's kind of like 50-50 what's been happening. So yeah, I have to agree, very dramatic first race, as we are currently done half of this Grand Prix, as we are now just waiting for people to pit. We have some people who have pitted and some not, and Toxic Tomato getting a 3-second penalty for track extending or corner cutting. PMP is not able to get closer than 1.5 or 1.4 seconds towards Toxic Tomato, as Toxic is catching 1 second per lap to Alfonso. So has Alfonso made some kind of mistake? Are we gonna see a fight for the win? As Toxic is really catching Alfonso now, and this is the fight we actually want to see. We want to see a fight for the win between 3 cars, 3 constructors, Mercedes, Racing Point and Haas. And now Alfonso is coming towards the pits. Toxic Tomato is staying out, PMP is staying out, and I want to see, did Alfonso make some kind of mistake or not? No, he's not. He's just changing his. Toxic makes a new fastest lap of 1:36.3. So we'll see. Alfonso is spinning. We'll see where he rejoins. He's gonna rejoin back in P3 position. Oh, it might be really close. I know actually Pierre Hansen is spinning for a new set of intermediates. But of course, in raining conditions, you don't have to make a pit stop if you're able to make 29 laps with your tires, because if you start in with, how do you say it, wet tires or intermediate tires, you don't have to make a pit stop. So some of these drivers could go with the 0 stop if they're talented enough to save the tires such distance to do that. But Hamster is spinning, Pierre Hansen just did a pit stop, New Zealand Cam did a pit stop. As we'll see what time Hamster is going to take. He's probably going to take intermediates, as Uncle Lance takes a 3-second time penalty for track extending. As now Alfonso is trying to catch up back to PMP and Toxic Tomato, maybe making an undercut on them, so he will have once again that 45-second lead what he used to have. Yeah, now we just have to wait. We just have to wait a couple more laps when PMP and Toxic Tomato are gonna make the pit stops. And one moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just quickly writing to the chat. In PSN or Twitter. I really need a second commentator for here. So if somebody in your viewers, if you wanna commentate with me, I would really appreciate it, because it's so much easier to do with 2 commentators. As Toxic Tomato has pitted and he's just lost to Alfonso Gomez, but he's caught him by 1 second. He's caught him by 1 second, even though Alfonso did the undercut on him. So very smart maneuver to make the undercut on Alfonso, or else he would have lost the position to Toxic Tomato. But yeah, if somebody wants to commentate with me these races, just DM me or write to the chat. It's fun to commentate with 2 commentators because of, yeah, my inexperience. Well, I've commentated a lot of leagues, but not alone. I've always commentated with somebody else. F1 Baza drops to P6 position, just ahead of Hamter. Hamter is very... Is my gap internal? Yeah, it is interval. I mean, as now we're just waiting for PMP to make his pit stop, and then we have every single driver who's made a stop. So yeah, we have actually a new message. It's drivers sending the POVs. So yeah, is PMP gonna make a pit stop? No, he's staying out. He's not doing a pit stop. Viewers, if you raced in Australia in rainy conditions, is it possible to make 29 laps with the intermediate tires? Somebody please help me out. Can you drive 29 laps without making a pit stop in an intermediate tires? If you save the tires enough. Is it even possible? As Alfonso says, the new fastest lap of 1:35.9. So he's once again finding his momentum, his drive to win, his consistency, because it's not all about being fast, it's also all about being consistent, as there's 12 or 12 and a half laps remaining in this Grand Prix. But I would really want to get an answer from that, is it possible to make 0 stops? Is it possible to make 0 stops in raining conditions? As Alfonso is 13 seconds behind of PMP. Toxic is 2.7 seconds behind of Alfonso now. New Zealand Cam is 22 seconds behind of Toxic. Well, actually, Pia Hansen could maybe catch New Zealand Cam, but it might go to the end. It might. We'll find out that in the end over the Grand Prix. Yeah, no. Alfonso is catching 1 second per lap per corner actually to PMP. So I don't know what is PMP waiting for. Has Seth informed him that the rain is gonna end? And there's yellows in sector 3. Somebody's gone white, and it's Toxic Tomato, and he's retired from the session. What on earth happened to Toxic Tomato? That will promote New Zealand Cam to P3 position, but what on earth happened to Toxic Tomato? Cameron Young and the 2 racing points who I considered who would be championship contenders in EFL are gonna have a double DNF. So disastrous day for the 2 racing points. I actually want to say, did he just retire or did he make a mistake? I think his car just retired, he made a mistake, and that promotes a Red Bull driver of New Zealand Cam to P3 position. So very good job from New Zealand Cam at the moment. As we are lap 18 under lap 29. Very controversial Grand Prix, I have to say. I could imagine if it would be dry conditions it would be so much different, but it is what it is with these intermediate conditions. As everybody moves up 1 position at the moment, as we have only 7 drivers remaining in the session. Pia Hansen in P4. Red Bull are going to get very good points. I think Red Bull might take the lead in the Constructors' Championship. 15, 12 points. They're going to take a lead by 2 points at this stage. Because of... yeah. But we have that rule, 95% rule. If you're going to retire on lap 25 or lap 26, you're going to get few points. But if you retire before that 95% rule, you're not going to get any points. Oh, actually, I might have to make a change for that. I'm not so sure how it goes in real life. As now, PMP is pitting to intermediate, so he did a 90 lap stint. As now PMP is he's gonna rejoin back in P2, so he will have a clean track ahead of him, a very big track ahead of him, and he will try to catch to Alfonso Gomez, and he wants very wide. But it's not over yet. We have so many retirements. We have over 14 drivers. Oh, I mean 11, 12 drivers retired from the session, so anything can happen. We might have few more retirements in a Grand Prix. But I'm very surprised that the safety car has not come out yet, even though of these 9 retirements and a few disconnections, and few drivers not even making it for the race. As Alfonso is leading 13 seconds to PMP, so if nothing drastic happens, safety car comes out, Alfonso disconnects, mechanical issues, draw a mistake, I think Alfonso might win this Grand Prix. But yeah, not big battles going on. Actually, if you're still watching the stream, please write your favorite race in real life in Formula 1. As we see Pia Hansen almost losing the car. But yeah, what's your most memorable race, what you're going to remember in Formula 1? As there's 9 laps or 10 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. Nothing really much happening, so oh boy. Yeah, still. And PMP is not really catching up to Alfonso Gomez. Everybody has actually very big gaps between each other, so yeah, I don't know what to talk about. Somebody can start, you know, ask some questions for me, ask about the league, ask about me, ask about something. because we still have 9 laps remaining in this GP. I'm gonna actually take a look at some questions. Just a few angry messages, boa and stuff like that. What should I tell you guys? But yeah, please ask me some questions, come on. It is quite embarrassing, me just talking to myself. I'm gonna be come a little bit of maniac now, because it started very potentially, because we always know that when the rain comes, it's gonna be very, very memorable, dramatic and controversial Grand Prix. Yes, we had, calculate, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 retirements, 1 disconnection, and 2 guys not even making for the race because they disconnected right before the race started. So we technically had over 10 or 11 retirements in a session and 1 rage quit. So yeah, I'm just talking to myself at the moment. Lap 21 or lap 29. Alfonso still has over 13.6 second lead over PMP. So Alfonso is doing a very excellent job in his lead. He's a very fast driver. He drives in Spanish simulation leagues. He used to drive in UPL. I'm not sure what other leagues he's been driving in, but we might actually follow him, because nothing else happening in the Grand Prix so far. But I remember in real life it's always the same. It's always like first 10 laps are very interesting, and then after that, when we had those 10-11 crashes, it's gonna stabilize a little bit, because then you're gonna have over 20-30 second gaps between the drivers. So it is what it is, and luckily Bahrain, you have more space, there are no walls, it's not a street track, and it doesn't rain in Bahrain. So in Bahrain you can only focus on dry setups or something like that. So yeah. I'm just testing my voice once again. It's lap 22 and lap 29, and Alfonso has been able to make a bigger gap for the lead at the moment for P1. Yeah. But yeah, if you want to commentate with me, just DM me in PSN or Twitter with the EFL _F1. It's always fun to commentate with somebody else. I could more focus on showing the stream, and somebody could do their work for me in the commentary jobs. I've kind of lost the edge now. But it's very difficult to commentate this kind of race when everybody crashes out in the first 4 laps. But if I have to choose a driver of the day, I'd have to choose between Alfonso or New Zealand Cam, because I think they moved so many positions, as New Zealand Cam has moved from P11 to P3, Pia Hansen from P16 to P4, Baza from P15 to P5, Hamtower P13 to P6, and Uncle Lance P14 to P7, even though he made that mistake, pitting for the wet tires. But yeah. How's my voice? So I wanna test my voice actually. Is my voice really echoing? One moment, it's but yeah, you would have write to me if it's echoing or if my voice is kinda bad, but yeah, what to do? Well, I would say that my most memorable Grand Prix in all of Formula 1, from ever since I started watching and all the documents, I'd have to say it has to be 1998 Belgium Grand Prix. It was also heavy rain conditions, and I believe there was that 11 car crash in turn 1 just before a Rouge. So this is basically the same thing than that Grand Prix, but now the 2 Jordans are not leading the race. So as Right, just Alfonso still having that 40-second lead. He's catching up to actual lapped cars at the moment, so he's about to overtake somebody by 1 lap, and that will be Uncle Lance. But we'll see. As actually, Uncle Lance has he left from the? Oh, he's ghosting on. I believe the ghosting is on. I forgot. Yeah, okay, but it's maybe better to have ghosting on because it's a new league. You don't know how people are gonna react to getting lapped, but it's gonna make life simpler for every single driver. New Zealand Cam is still in P3, 17 seconds behind of PMP. But he's doing a very good job. New Zealand Cam, who said before the race that he'll be fighting for P19 for the rest of the season. Well, you're currently taking your first podium if you don't mess it up. So, currently doing a very good job. If you have to choose, guys, who is your driver of the day at the moment? I know there's been a big crashes. It's like a Germany 2019, but who is your driver of the day? I would say, at the moment, I'd say it's between Hansen, Cam, and Alfonso Gomez. But I'm a neutral commentator, so I cannot say the driver of the day. I might have to make a vote on it in Twitter tomorrow. So, yeah, as we are now starting very soon, lap 25 out of lap 29. And guys, ask me anything, ask me something. I know there's still 4 viewers, I can see from the stream. There are 4 viewers watching this race. So you 4 viewers, please ask some questions. You're about to get some TV time. I know how often I will be able to answer your questions, or I will see. You've had a lot of comments here today. Somebody asking what does EFL mean? It means Eric's Formula League. When do you race? We race on Wednesdays. Yes sir, we race on Wednesdays. And Alfonso writing that hopefully I will have big pleasure commentating the race. Yeah, very good job at the moment from Alfonso. If he can just keep it in the track, not make any mistakes. He's won his first Grand Prix in EFL, and he's done an excellent drive in a Mercedes, and it was a right choice to put him to Mercedes. He's showing that Mercedes dominance, what Mercedes has been showing since 2014, and a Haas driver is getting a P2, and New Zealand Cam in Red Bull is taking P3. So at the moment, Red Bull will take the lead in a Constructors' Championship. We have 7 drivers remaining in the session because Wickmill has disconnected, but yeah. And the 2 racing points who I predicted who are going to be in a championship fight are getting the double DNF, so they will be getting 0 points in this Grand Prix, as Alfonso is just leading by 17 seconds at the moment. So the practice races really didn't so much, as Alfonso sets a new fastest lap of 1:35.684. I mean 6:04. But that only shows practice race winners were Napola, Shapes, aka Chappelle. So practice race wins don't actually show the true picture when you have all the drivers racing a little bit mixed conditions, dry qualifying and wet race. It might change a little bit the circumstances a little bit. Yeah, how do you say it? Circumcise? No, you don't circumcise. You circumcise in a bar mitzvah, I think. A Jewish little baby. How do you say it? It's not circumcise. It's circumstances. In different circumstances, different drivers might perform in a different level than they used to do in the past. So yeah, and Alfonso, PMP, and New Zealand Cam are living proof of it. Staying mostly out of trouble, driving their own ways, and people like Hamtower not had any issues in this Grand Prix, and is gonna take top 6 from very qualified in P14. So yeah, you have to be just careful and drive consistently and carefully in these conditions to get some points. As PMP Tron Cats has left the session, so he has disconnected, and that will give a good chance for New Zealand Cam to catch him and get P2. Unbelievable since, but he will be getting points. But what position it's going to be? Is it going to be P2, P3 or P4? Unbelievable scenes from as quickly, one moment guys, I have to make more room in the party, as we have still Nappel and Hamter in the party. I've muted them. One moment guys, don't leave from the stream please. I'm just quickly making sure that all the drivers are allowed to come here. There we go. As I don't know, he hasn't still came back, but he will be taking P2 at the moment, because the gap is very big between PMP and New Zealand Cam. But New Zealand Cam is probably pushing so much right now to try to catch PMP. As Pia Hansen has taken 3-second time penalty, and that might also aid PMP a little bit, as he has still not... He's not coming back. But if he's only losing 6 seconds per lap, he might still take that P2, even though he's left from the session. So that's almost basically the same what we saw in IRL Division 2 in China. One driver's AI, Felix, in Ferrari, so that's F3YHT. He left from the session, but his AI fought so hard for P2, so it's still possible in the ending stages that he will finish in a podium, or will finish in a P2 position. As PMP Tron Cats has joined back to the session. One moment guys. 10 p.m. One moment, I have to answer a few questions. But yeah, Alfonso is pitting! Alfonso is pitting! He's making another pit stop. He's trying to take the fastest lap, so he'll be getting 26 points if he makes another fastest lap. And it's lap 28 out of lap 29. Only 2 laps remaining in the session. As it's still 2 Red Bulls, and New Zealand Cam wasn't able to catch him so much, but that gave chance for Alfonso to make a pit stop and just make another fastest lap, I guess, because he will have 10 lap fresher tires than rest of the grid. We're gonna have a podium interviews, so when the race is over, stick around to hear the thoughts of these drivers, because they've been driving 29 laps in heavy rain conditions basically, so you want to hear what they have to say about the Grand Prix here today. So stick around. And as Alfonso is getting a 3-second time penalty, and is that gonna actually matter or not, because we don't know how many penalties Alfonso has. Has Alfonso messed this up? If Alfonso has 9 seconds worth of penalties and PMP has 0 penalties, that means PMP might actually win the Grand Prix here today. But we don't know. It's as Alfonso is gonna start his last lap of the Grand Prix. Even if he makes one mistake, one small error, it might cost him the win. And was this such a smart maneuver to make that pit stop? He has to make the gap to 9 seconds or 6 seconds, we don't know. And there's a lapped car of a Ferrari, but we have ghosting off, so... Yeah, it's very good thing it's not gonna affect the win, luckily, so... As he kind of lost a little bit of time, but he didn't lose that much time, so... Of course, he's now coming towards corner 6 and corner 7, and he made a big mistake! He's passed out! He's made a big mistake and he's lost big part of his front wing! Unbelievable scenes! And is that gonna aid the win for PMP Tron Cats? People who has left the stream are gonna be very furious right now, and yes he is! Alfonso has lost his front wing! He's lost his front wing, he's made a big mistake! Unbelievable! Unbelievable! Who's gonna win this Grand Prix? Is it gonna be PMP? Is it gonna be Alfonso or PMP? And PMP is now seeing he's catching up to Alfonso. Alfonso has lost his whole right side. I wanna see what he has lost. Whole right side of his front wing, and he is struggling so much. He's going to the grass, he's making big mistakes, and those penalties might cost him the win. What a Grand Prix we had here today. What a Grand Prix. What a Grand Prix, and who's going to win the race? Is it going to be Alfonso or is it going to be PMP? PMP is only 4 seconds behind him. He has to make the gap less than 3 seconds. I think he'll be able to do it as Alfonso runs very, very wide. And Alfonso is coming towards the line, but who is going to win the Grand Prix here today? It's going to be Alfonso, it's going to be PMP. As Alfonso is coming towards the corners, he's going to come towards the final corner, and Alfonso will cross the line in P1, but who is going to win? And PMP, what's happened to him? What's happened to PMP? I'm not so sure what's happening. I'm not so sure what's happening in the Grand Prix. He just let people go, so that's very, very odd. As we're still waiting for Bassett to finish, and Hamza is gonna finish, and Uncle Lance. But at the moment, I might invite the current drivers to the podium interviews. But that was very weird from PMP, because he just lifted off and let everybody go. But I'm gonna send invites now to everybody in the. We're gonna invite Alfonso Gomez to the party. I'm gonna see the invitation sent to Alfonso Gomez. There we go, and why the game doesn't let me circle. There we go. As we have a new comment. Alfonso Gomez, oh my god, what a race. Yes, the race was very, very epic. I have to agree with you. And we're still waiting for Uncle Lance to finish. And we're gonna send an invite to New Zealand Cam. Oh, yeah. So we have people coming back to the podium interviews. New Zealand Cam is celebrating. He's fighting effing yeah about this. As we try to get the top 3 to the interviews. And as you can see here, here's the podium. Alfonso Gomez won. New Zealand Cam got P2, and PMP Try Cats got P3. So beautiful drive from these 3 drivers. Very good job for Alfonso Gomez, who took his first win in EFL. Alfonso Gomez, you are a race winner. You are a race winner. Congratulations. As they're spraying champagne, so they're champagning and campaigning as they used to do in olden F1 days. Well, they still do champagning, but it's kind of like as we have a race winner joining us here today, as we're gonna wait for the other top 3 to finish. So your final results are Alfonso winning, New Zealand Cam in P2, PMP Try Cats in P3, Hansen P4, Bazza P5, Hamza P6, Uncle Lance P7, Wickmill P8, Toxic Tomato P9, Riat Isabel P10, and retirements of Hartza, Elite Shots, Eduk, LMC, Napple and Similavican. As I'm quickly going to take the screenshot, and I'm going to invite everybody to the party. We still have to invite New Zealand Cam and PMP Try Cats, so let's wait for the interviews, and we're just going to wait for them to come, and then we're going to start the interviews. Where's New Zealand Cam? I hate when everybody's offline. It's gonna make my day. There we go. There's as we're gonna wait for PMP, still gonna come to the party, and there we go. But yeah, waiting for those couple of drivers. They said they're gonna come. So Alfonso, do you have voiceovering on?
Yeah.
Alright, we can probably start with you, Alfonso. Very controversial Grand Prix. You won the first race in EFL. You got the maximum points here today. Tell us about the race.
Well, I put it wet setup in qualifying, and I finished P4, which I didn't expect it. And then I just got benefit of the start. I was P1, P2 on the first corner, and I don't know, I don't remember which car was it, but it turned into me in the first corner, I got my wing broken, and after that I just start pushing and making a lap to be able to beat and still first.
And how hard it was to drive in those conditions. We know you had the wet setup, and tell us about the mistake in the last lap where you lost your whole right side of the front wing. Were you in panic at that point? Tell us how you were feeling
Uh,
when you lost that front wing. How you were feeling at
Well,
that
I
time.
had a game mistake which showed the Haskar between me, but he was really at 20 seconds. So I started having a lot of panic because I said, "What the hell is here?" But it is 20 seconds back of me. So after the crash, I said, "Oh fuck, the fastest lap is fucked," but I already have it. I wanted to go faster, but I really crashed into the wall.
But luckily, it didn't cost you the win. So congratulations, Alfonso, for the win. I'm gonna come to you a little bit later. New Zealand Cam, do you have voice having on?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, do you have voice having on?
Do I have what?
Voice having.
Yeah.
So New Zealand Cam, first podium in EFL. Before the race started, it will be very, very hard to even get to the points. And watching your qualifying here today, you must be very ecstatic for the P2 and a great debut in EFL. So tell us about the race. Congratulations for that P2.
Yes. Well, basically, turn one was a bit of a mare because I tried to just start a trouble around the outside, but got pushed off into the gravel, so that put me in, I believe, like P13 or something like that. And it just went, well, uphill from there. I pit, and I managed to get like a 5 second gap to my teammate, but he managed to catch me. And at that point, I was like, alright, he might get me. But at the end, he just came back to me, and I managed to grab P2.
And of course, you guys in Red Bull, Hansen finishing in P4, you finishing P2. Most of the drivers retiring. That means Red Bull is gonna take the lead in a constructors' championship over Mercedes. So, was that a little bit planned from you guys when it came to the Grand Prix that you would leave as constructors leaders from Australia?
No, it wasn't
No.
planned, but I'll take it.
Alright, very good stuff for P2 and PMP2 and Cat. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Congratulations for P3, and you had a very good chance of winning the Grand Prix in the end. You were catching Alfonso Gomez because of that front wing damage, but why did you lift off in the last corner?
Team orders, PMP team orders. So
Yep.
yeah,
Team orders, you're in a different teams with New Zealand Cam, so
yeah. I was a reserve, so yeah.
I guess you got the podium. Did you expect to get a podium in your first race in EFL? Watching the qualifying, like all of you guys, except Alfonso, like coming outside the top 10. Did you think that right, we're gonna finish P2 and P3 after this race? Did you really?
No,
think?
not at all. I actually got a really good start, which was surprising because I had super cold tires. Because in like lap one, I think I hit the back of someone on the formation lap, so I was really surprised to get a good start. And yeah, I let Tomato past or whatever he's called. So yeah, and just stuck behind him. So it ended well.
That's very good job, P2 and P3 and Alfonso. Will we hear the winner drivers and winner teams national anthem? So ladies and gentlemen, take your hats off for national anthem of Spain and Germany. And that was the national anthems of Spain and Germany. Congratulations for Alfonso Gomez and constructors for Mercedes for winning this Grand Prix. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the first race of EFL. I was your commentator and owner of EFL, Eric Salama. Thank you for all the people who watched, and congratulations top 3 of Alfonso, New Zealand Cam and PAP Try and Catch. And follow us next week where we'll be racing in Bahrain, same time. And wherever you are in the world, good night, good day, good morning. Ciao ciao. And